Okay, what's going on, guys? This is Liam here. I'm just doing a bit of work here. I would normally advocate not using wireless stuff. I've got a wireless mouse there and a wireless keyboard, but literally nothing else works with Mac, and this wrecks your posture to be sitting over there, and obviously you want to avoid neck stuff. So, anyway, I'm just answering some emails and doing stuff here, and I noticed that it's an amazing day outside, so I'm going to go outside and go in the sun and also film a video. So, very interesting topic today. I got a message from someone in my group, and their tinnitus is getting better. It's getting much better. I believe it's down from a 7 to a 2. And by the way, that's locked. By the way, when I say a 7 to a 2 and you're like, oh, is my tinnitus a 7? It's really relative. So it's just relative to what your tinnitus was and what it is now. And you kind of get a marker for that. Some people go online and listen to tones and think, oh, my volume is this or it's this. And that's a really good way to freak the shit out of yourself. So don't do that. Lots of people, they measure their tinnitus every day in different rooms at different times. And of course, it's necessary because you want the volume to go down. But if you become obsessed, then you really start freaking yourself out. And there's nothing good about that at all. And so this guy who's getting results said to me, Liam, I'm getting results, but I keep cheating. And he keeps doing the wrong things and staying up too late and not doing the things, proper exercises, and obviously eating poorly. Just a reminder, eating is such a small part of tinnitus. So it's just that eating is probably such a big part of your life that it seems like that's a big part. And of course you can make drastic changes in your tinnitus from simple dietary changes. That's why it seems big. But we've got to consider light, sleep, exercise, stress, muscle problems, jaw problems, toxicity of medications, weather, all sorts of things. So just remember that. But he says, he said, Liam, I know you're not my therapist, but what can you do to help me stay on track and keep doing the things I've got to do? Because you have to make sacrifice to get silence, and nobody wants to hear that. And nobody wants to do it. A lot of people say they do, but they don't really. They'll do like 50%. And you can get results from 50% effort. You could probably even get silence from 50% effort. People have done it before, but that's rare. That's really rare. You can get close though. So he said, what can I do? And I said, let me explain to you this. How are people motivated? People are more motivated to get away from pain than towards pleasure. So if you see a guy driving around a Ferrari and you think, how did he get that Ferrari? How did he motivate himself to work so hard to be that successful? Or a nice house or whatever it is. The motivation of not wanting to be embarrassed by driving a piece of shit car was probably more motivation than the adoration he would get from the Ferrari. And that's how people work. It's very hard to sell somebody a course or information or a drug that's preventative in nature. This will prevent you from getting diabetes. I don't give a shit. But when somebody has diabetes and their health is starting to suffer, you better fucking bet they're going to pay whatever it takes to get better. And that's why I told this guy, what you have to do is you have to think about what you're most scared of. Think about the fact that he's a DJ. I said, think about the fact that you probably won't ever be a famous DJ unless you put the effort in now and kick your tinnitus. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but it's going to be harder, isn't it? And take longer. And maybe he won't be able to maybe he puts in 2 hours of work a day, and the other guy down the street's putting in 5 hours of work a day. He doesn't have tinnitus, he's not stressed out, he sleeps better, he can think better, he can put in more work. And maybe he's going to have your dream and you're not going to have shit. Because people don't like to hear this, but in order to have something, someone else can't have it. If you start dating someone that you absolutely love, it means that someone else isn't. If you live in a certain house, then somebody else isn't. If you're, for example, my course that I sell, my tinnitus course, if I sell it to somebody, it means someone else didn't sell it. And I get the money and the other person didn't get the money. That's how it works. If you get one of the spots in the course, it means someone else didn't. That's how it works. And so on and so forth. Airplane seats. And people don't like to hear that. People like to hear that the world is all furry and funny and happy, but it's just not. And that will really set you free once you understand that. So to you listening right now, how do I get motivated to do it? It's not. So the first thing I tell you is tinnitus can get a lot worse than it probably is for you right now. So be wary of that. Some people say, oh, it's a 1 or 2 out of 10. I can probably live with it forever. And I say, no, you can live with it now, but it may increase. And this is such a common story I get. People say, oh, Liam, I need help. It was like a 1 out of 2 for 3 years and I didn't care. And then I took a drug, or I got stressed, or I just woke up, or I don't know what happened, something bad happened. And then it went to like an 8 out of 10 and it won't go down. I'm really freaked out. And in the back of my head, I want to say, I told you. Or, if I haven't spoken to them, I just want to say, you should have done something in the beginning. You should have got to it then. But really in your mind that was preventative. So you have to, and no one cares about that. But what you have to do is think of the fear. Why do you buy health insurance? Preventative. Why do you put your seatbelt on? Preventative. Why do you try and eat healthy? Preventative. And not many people care about preventative because they think, oh, it's never going to happen to me, or you only hear horrible things about that in the news. But think about my recent debacle with food poisoning and dying and losing my toes. You know, shit happens. But I was eating incredibly healthy and I recovered better than anyone else I've ever looked about online, ever. Everyone else who had what I had lost their legs, their life, or their legs and their arms, and it looks like they had meningococcal. They just cut their arms and legs off. They're basically a stump. Okay, so I was preventative. So first of all, acknowledge the importance of preventative action. And second of all, what are you scared of? And what are you scared of? You know, are you scared of being judged? Are you scared of having tinnitus forever? Are you scared of what tinnitus might hold you back from achieving? Think about what those things and really take a good hard look in the mirror at yourself and wake up to what you're doing to yourself. Are you damaging yourself? If you have tinnitus, what does that mean? It usually means you have problems with the brain, with the ear, with the mitochondria. This is just, you know, it's the first domino to fall, perhaps. So if you have tinnitus, you should think, fuck, I should address this now. Because, you know, if this is happening now, what else could happen? It could get worse. I could get hearing loss, which I don't really think is happening to most people, and I can talk about that in another video. But I'll leave it here. But just remember that you need to write down a list of your biggest fears that will come to life by not taking action to fix your tinnitus. Things like partner, things like job security, things like relaxation, things like not having tinnitus on your deathbed. Imagine laying in your deathbed and all you can hear is ringing when you're trying to tell your family how much you love them and to not worry when you're gone. That's pretty fucking devastating, I would say. Even if you're 14 years old or you're 80 years old. I work with people of all ages. So think about that. Another thing I want to add in, which is a completely different topic, is I have every, 3 times a month I have people emailing me and say, oh Liam, I can't believe you charge money for this. Why wouldn't you just give it out for free? So let me explain some simple economics and time management. Okay, so I wake up at about 4 a.m. and then I work all the way through until about 8 p.m. All on tinnitus, all on helping people. Okay, so I want to have the best information, I want to help the most amount of people, and I want my time to be available for people, and I can't do everyone, so I just have people in my course. If I gave everything out for free, by the way, I have hundreds of videos and hundreds of posts and hundreds of emails that you can go through, and there's a ton of free information that you can get. But if I give everything else for free, then what do I do? Do I become a breatharian and become homeless and use Starbucks for the Wi-Fi? Or do I become a leech and go on welfare and take money from society? What would make more sense, to do that? Or should I start a business, help people with this problem, which actually does help people with this problem, charge money for it, and therefore I can spend more time doing this, help more people, develop better products. By the way, that's what helped me do the documentary. The documentary is completely free. It cost me over $10,000. You're welcome for that. So you can get all these amazing things. And also when I get taxed for the money that I make, it goes and helps people who are less fortunate than me, people who actually need help, especially in the times of this coronavirus. So the problem isn't really that I charge for some of the advice, and to be honest, the best advice is in the course because it's complex and has to be done in the right order, so I need to be there to walk you through it. If I just start putting it online, you'll probably fuck yourself up. It's complex, okay? But there is still great information on the YouTube channel and the Instagram, hundreds of videos, hundreds of post testimonials. I think you're seeing the picture here. The problem isn't that it's not free, buddy. The problem is that you are entitled. And you think that people online are just these people who are just not real and they just should give everything out for free, and it's just silly. I mean, are you a butcher, are you a painter, are you a plumber, you're a teacher, why don't you work for free? You know, why don't you just stop taking money? What would happen then? That would be silly, wouldn't it? How could you feed yourself? How could you feed your family? And then you'd have to work for free. And then you'd have to go and get a second job and get money from that job to fund that job. So that's basic economics right there. Check out Thomas Sowell for some more information on that. So Just wanted to say that. There's free information if you want it, and if you want the best of the best, you can always join Triumph over Tinnitus 3. So hope you guys enjoy that. Find out what your fear is, okay? And use that fear to motivate you to take action. Take your time, don't do it too fast, and tinnitus is not for life.